Hello everybody, this is Andy Pilc. It's day 15 of our Maps and Measurement unit, and in this video I'll be covering how to use this map that's on page 3 in your ESRT and how to determine the latitude and longitude of cities and rivers and mountains that are in New York State. So let's take a look at the map. A couple things about it. The map includes cities and markers for lines of latitude and longitude. So if you look, 42 degrees, 43 degrees, 44 degrees. These numbers are labeled on the map, and there's a little trick that I share with my students on how to determine the latitude and longitude of cities in the middle of the state. And we also have our lines of longitude on top, 75, 76, 77, and so on. But these full degrees don't necessarily give you the specificity to find exact locations. So most commonly in earth signs, we'll break full degrees down into minutes, and there are 60 minutes in 1 degree, just like there are 60 minutes in 1 hour if we were talking about time. You can even get more specific, and you can break down each minute into 60 seconds to get really, really super specific. And these coordinates here I like to share with my students, which are the latitude and longitudinal coordinates for our school, Bronx Academy of Letters. Shout out to all the Ravens out there. So let's look at this map in a little bit more detail. So first off, latitude and longitude. All of the coordinates for latitude are north because all areas in New York State and also the United States are all north of the equator. Just like all of the longitudinal coordinates are west because the entire state and country is west of the prime meridian. Something else to note here is that just like on the map, our degrees are increasing as we move up and we go north. Remember that the longitude is west. So the prime meridian is 73 degrees to our east, but as we go from right to left on the map, we are increasing our distance from the prime meridian, and therefore, if you're reading this map left to right, the numbers are going down. So just remember that the longitude increases in value as we go from the right side of the map to the left side of the map. Now you're also going to notice that there are these little hash marks or these little plus signs interspersed throughout the map, and they're there for a reason. They're actually giving us those latitude and longitude coordinates. And a lot of times in class, I'll have my students, when they're first looking at this map, connect the line. So if you see 42 degrees on this right side, right next to that little hash mark, and we see 42 degrees on the left side, we can draw a line and connect those 2 points to draw the 42 degrees north latitude line. And we can do that for all of the other lines of latitude on the map too, 43, 44, 45, and the same thing happens with the lines of longitude. I'll get my head out of the way here. So 73 degrees is here, up on top. And then we also have 73 degrees at a little bit of an angle. There's 40 degrees, 30 minutes. More on that in a second. But we can also connect those lines of longitude. And once you have this grid, and they're not perfectly parallel on this map, remember Earth is an oblique spheroid, so it's not a perfect grid. But this will give us a better idea of where the lines of latitude and longitude are, so we can get a more specific reading on where the cities and mountains and rivers and different areas of bedrock are. Let's take a look at a couple more things having to do with this, and that would be, let's just draw on here again, breaking down a whole degree into minutes, which is getting us a more specific location on the map. So right over here, that would be considered 42 degrees and 0 minutes. It would be like saying o'clock if we were talking about time, like 5 o'clock, exactly on 5. So this line is exactly on 42 degrees north, so it's 42 degrees and 0 minutes north. Just like this line here is 43 degrees and 0 minutes. Well, in between those two marks, there's another dash, and that dash is indicating the 42 degrees and 30-minute mark, because we are half of the way up that 60 minutes to the next degree. So they label those lines there for you, but you can also be more specific, because if we look at this city here, Ithaca, right in the Finger Lakes region, you'll see that it's not on the line that is labeled, right? It's not on 42 degrees and 0 minutes or 42 degrees and 30 minutes. So we would have to estimate a little bit. And the way that we estimate is kind of just like eyeballing in between where that hash mark is. So about this latitude would be 42 degrees and 15 minutes. And this latitude would be about 42 degrees and 45 minutes north. So if I had to estimate, now it gets a little bit easier to estimate Ithaca, and I would say it's in between 42 degrees and 15 minutes and 42 degrees and 30 minutes. I think it's a little bit closer to this line. So let's say that Ithaca is about 42 degrees and 18 or 19 minutes north of the equator. And just like we saw before, we have lines of longitude, 76, 77. So in between, remember that we're increasing as we move to the left on the map. And just remember that this is in between 76 and 77. If you're thinking about it in time, if that helps, it's like 76:30. We're increasing, we're half of the way there. So that line there is 76 degrees and 30 minutes. And there's our line of longitude for Ithaca. You should go there and go visit Watkins Glen, not too far from there in the Finger Lakes region. Let's take a couple more look at some practice questions. So, what city is located at 43 degrees and 5 minutes north? So let's figure out where that's going to be first. So 43 degrees, that would be 30, 15, 7.5, so right about here even. So it could be Utica, Syracuse, maybe Rochester, maybe Niagara Falls. Let's look at the longitude, 76 degrees and 10 minutes north. So remember, we're going to go from right to left. So here's 76 degrees, and I want to go about 10 more minutes to the north. So if I find that latitude and longitude, then it looks like Syracuse is the best answer for that one. Let's take a look at this next one. I'll even give you a 10-second head start to figure this out on your own. We're going to find the city that's located at 42 degrees and 5 minutes north and 76 degrees and 45 minutes west. So now we're going to start at 42 degrees and 5 minutes. I hope you didn't just jump on that 43 degrees and 5 minutes again. Slightly different number. So about here. And my longitude is 76 degrees and 45 minutes. So 76:30, 76:45. It looks like the best city for that location, would be Elmira. Don't look at that one just yet. Let's find the coordinates of Slide Mountain next. So here's Slide Mountain, right next to Kingston, the first capital of New York State. And let's find the latitude first, because that always comes first. So it looks like Slide Mountain, I would say, is right on 42 degrees. So we could say 42 degrees and 0 minutes. Sorry for my crooked line there. And then we're going to drop it down. And we'll see that it's in between 74 and 75. Here's 74 and 30 minutes. So it's going to be a little bit less than 74 degrees and 30 minutes. Sorry, a lot of coordinates to keep track of. So that's how I got 74 degrees and 28 minutes west. It's a little bit less than 30 minutes. Let's take a look at this last one, Mount Marcy, the tallest peak in New York State. Me and my wife climbed it on our honeymoon last year. It's right up here in the Adirondacks. So let's start with the latitude. What would you say that is? Let's take a look. Go right to the right. Give me a good estimate. What do you think that one is? Probably right about there to help you out. And then let's find, again, the longitude, pretty similar to where we were at before. Remember those lines curve a little bit. Did you get 44 degrees and 5 minutes north and 73 degrees and 58 minutes west? I thought it was a little bit less than 74. That's why I said it was a little bit more towards, or that way, that 73 degree mark. So I hope you found this breakdown helpful, and hopefully you will be an expert at locating cities and mountains in New York State. Go find a mountain and hike one. Have a nice day.